Welcome to another Petersburg By Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Bloody Strings, one of the many chronicles here at St. Pete by Night. I am Devin Kane, your humble storyteller this evening, and these are my lovely players. Please introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Nori, and I will be playing Bellatrix, Whip of Clan Malkavian.
Hi, I'm Chucky XC, and I am playing the bold, brash Bruja Drake Monahan.
Hi, I'm Kendall the Elemental on TikTok, and I'll be playing Maggie Haywood the Hikata.
Hello, I am Lakar the Artificer on TikTok, and I am once again playing the well-dressed ne'er-do-well Toreador, Matthew Halden.
Hey, I'm Mew, and I'll be playing Sophie Clues, the Malted Milkshake Malkavian.
And with that, let's get back to it. So, last we left off, the Coterie, after handling some of their business, came together back to the Ascent. There was a knock on the door where they received a surprise visit from Seraph. Had a little bit of a cleanup mess for them to help with after dealing with everything and taking things where they needed to go. The group broke up, going in different directions. Maggie making their way back to Mortuary, the rest going to the Dali. And now we're going to see what Bellatrix has been up to. So, Bellatrix, while the Coterie were at the Ascent, what was Bellatrix up to?
Bellatrix decided to do a little sneaking and stalking, mostly of Cheryl. She intended to watch Cheryl and follow her home, and then wait to see if she had any visitors.
All right. So which ability are you using? Any abilities to observe?
Yes, I'm using Silence of Death and Unseen Passage.
Go ahead and give me a dex of stealth.
Okay.
And a wits and awareness.
I got 4 successes on each.
No one seems to notice you. You kind of prop yourself away from the main area. You watch, waiting. And then you see her making her way home. Looks like she just got off work. As she approaches the main door to the building, you see that there is a individual kind of sitting on like a little doorstep outside. They're wearing like these gray, worn-looking pants, a kind of pinkish hoodie. They've got these round glasses. They look like they might be early 20s. He kind of sits there, looks up at her. He stands up immediately, approaches her, and they begin talking. You notice that she seems a little agitated, and you can't tell rightly what they're saying, but they seem to be arguing. He's kind of flailing his arms about, exasperated. She looks exhausted, kind of going back and forth with one another. Finally, she just throws her hands up. She unlocks the door, opens it, and lets him in. She follows after, closes the door. You sit there for a while, watching. Finally, you see a window upstairs light up. You see the two of them enter the room. He sits down. You can't see what it is that they're looking at, but based on what you heard before, they're probably in the answer room. He's sitting down, kind of looking down at her. You see, her name just vanished to me.
Cheryl?
Cheryl, thank you. You see Cheryl standing kind of right over his shoulder. She looks at him, looks at her, and then he turns around, addresses her, and you see her walk away. Closes the door. He sits there and waits for a moment, still looking back at the door. And you see him look down at her and give me a wits and insight.
Five successes.
He looks down, and you catch what appears to be a hint of regret, maybe guilt. But then you watch as he opens his mouth, you see the fangs, and he goes out of view of the window. He's gone for a moment before picking his head back up. Wipes his mouth. You see he kind of leans over, seems to be caressing, and then he stands up. He turns and he leaves. It's about 20 minutes after you lose sight of anyone before you see him stepping out of the front, closing the door behind him, taking the steps down. He kind of scans the street a little bit, and then he starts moving south, deeper into the neutral zone.
I'll follow him. I'll give a glance at the house, almost wondering if I should check on Cheryl first, but I don't want to lose him, so I'll follow him.
You follow him. He walks for a while. He gets to pretty centered in the zone, like between the Anarch territory and Camarilla. He continues heading south, and finally you see him approach the passenger side of a pretty plain-looking vehicle. There's somebody in the driver's seat, but it's very dark. It's hard to get any features off of that individual. But he walks over, he gets to the side. They sit there for a moment, and the car will begin to drive.
I'm going to pull out a notebook and write down the license plate.
Okay. Give me a... you can do wits and awareness or intelligence investigation.
I'm going to do wits and awareness. And I got 4 successes on that.
You get a license plate number. The car drives off, heading further south.
I'm going to need help on this. I think I'm going to ask Dad.
About that moment, you'll get a ping on your phone. Matthew, 911 Tiantero.
Heading to Tiantero.
As you make your way to Tiantero, we will transition to the dolly. Sophie, you have been wandering around for a little bit, looking at some of the artwork with Sarah, who has been quiet.
Sophie will bring Sarah up to one of the paintings. Portrait of my sister. Funny, my mother said that Dolly and his sister actually had a bit of a falling out over this one. But if you look at it, Sarah, I think you might see that I think Dolly really saw his sister for who she was and expressed it. And sometimes looking at your real self can be a bit terrifying, coming to terms with what you are. I mean, you see here, it's almost like a reflection. You have her beautiful kind of figure on top, but then on the bottom half, it's a bit, it's different, yet it's also the same. But it's also not really a reflection because it's all one piece. I suppose what I'm trying to say, Sarah, is what happened tonight may have been very unsettling, and we all have this part of ourselves that can creep up from the pit of our core, but it doesn't mean that it will always take a hold over us. I don't believe you've met a good friend of mine, but he once had a similar experience, much like you did. He was trying to protect someone very dear to him, and he made perhaps what some might think was a mistake. I don't see it that way, but then again, I'm biased toward his decisions, but he went into kind of another state of being, and that's when things became really ugly. He he killed a lot of innocent lives. But after that day, I haven't seen that happen again. And I think Sarah, I think everything will be okay. I think, sometimes these things happen, but, Bellatrix might be very upset for a little while, but with a little bit of time, I'm sure she'll come to terms with it. And you just have to keep in mind when things like this happen, you might have to own up to the mistake. When we lose ourselves, it's why it happened, but we can't use it as an excuse. Sorry, I know I'm not the best at giving advice. I'm almost just as new in some ways as you are. I know you are quite young, but I think you have a full life ahead of you. Don't you agree?
She hasn't taken her eyes off the painting. She sits there for a moment. Did Dolly's sister kill something that he really loves and appreciates?
Well, in that time frame, there were some, that sometimes things happened in the 20s that not everyone likes to really talk about. So I won't definitively say that she did or didn't. But they had a bit of a falling out after this depiction. And that is one way that relationships can go. But I find that more often than not, when we accept who we are and try to be the best version that we can, we don't use our faults as an excuse to not be better. Sometimes those deep friendships that have been very hurt, they can be mended. It just may take time. And as you know, with the extended life, it may take a while, but I'm very confident that that Bella will warm up again as long as you just you should accept that what you've done was wrong, but you can always strive to make the best possible situations where it doesn't happen again. So, always making sure that you're healthy and well-fed can help alleviate some of it, and maybe sometimes avoiding stressful places or absent and things like that. That can cloud your judgment. I know that Bella and Lakar sometimes will often be interested in searching that out, but just keep that in mind that it can affect your emotional state.
Give me a wits and insight.
I'll go with that. 2 successes.
You see there is as you are watching her in this exchange, you've noticed that she does seem regretful, but I don't think you think that it's regret for what she did necessarily as much as she has hurt Bellatrix. Like, she doesn't necessarily think what she did is wrong, she just thinks that she did wrong to Bellatrix. But then there's a moment, there's these little moments that seem to be almost immediately suppressed, where her demeanor shifts from guilty to almost angry, and then it kind of twitches back.
And don't forget, Sarah, you know, some of the coterie might be a bit upset with the situation, but it's okay to feel some anger for your loss as well. You also lost a friend, and sometimes we might be distracted from seeing that and sympathizing with you as well. So if you ever desire to talk or to look at more paintings and discuss analysis, I can be available to you.
I don't really know you.
Well, that's fair. But we could get to know each other more. I have been a bit lonely with some of the coterie has some of them have been here and then have gone away. I don't know if Gray will come back. We didn't always get along. I was a bit distrustful, but it's good to have a community in your life, and you know, Bellatrix is a very strong, almost parental figure for you, and it's good to immerse yourself in the community and have more support sometimes when things like this happen, when your friend is upset with you. It's good to have other friends to rely on.
About this moment, you'll notice somebody coming in. They step into the room. I'm not sure you have met this individual directly, but they're wearing... They're dressed in slacks, they have suspenders over a long sleeve shirt. They've kind of got like a popper kind of style hat on. About shoulder length long hair. It's come to Edwin's attention that you're here.
Yes, hello. Sarah and I are looking at some of the paintings before the rest of the coterie arrives. They had something they had to deal with before coming here. But it's not too much of a trouble, I hope.
Well, not so much of a trouble, but a few of your other friends are coming in, and Edwin wants everyone in the conference room.
Right. Well, Sarah, would you like to accompany us to the conference room?
Actually, Edwin would like me to take her downstairs.
Why would you? Why would she be separated?
She's not a member of your coterie,
Oh, is she
and I don't
not?
ask questions.
Well, I think Bella may be more comfortable. I know that Bella would probably consider her fairly coterie adjacent, which is it's
Your
almost
coterie works directly along with the keeper of Elysium, who has not recognized this girl as a member of such official business. So I'll be taking her downstairs. We'll be kept in a secure space until your meeting is done. But she is presently under accounting of Bellatrix. And when Bellatrix is not present on Elysium grounds, she is to be contained.
right. How about until the coterie gets here and we meet in the conference room, I can go downstairs just to keep an eye on her in the contained space. While we're waiting for the rest of the coterie anyway. We were having a very nice conversation, and I would hate to end it so abruptly.
I suppose that'd be fine. I'll be back.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Cahill takes you to another space in the building. He doesn't take you to Edwin's office. He takes you past it into a loading garage where he kind of opens up a locker that opens up into a downstairs space and escorts you there until you find kind of like a sub basement with several containment rooms. He takes you down through here into one of the little holding rooms, allows the two of you in, and then he stands outside.
All right, Sarah. Time to just make yourself comfortable. We might be waiting a little bit, depending on how long they take.
Do they already know?
Whom are you referring to?
The keeper, does he already know?
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know, how if Mr. Halden has told him anything as of yet, or how Maggie's dealing with that whole mess has gone. So why don't we just relax? Well, I could even sing for a little bit if it'll help calm you down. I don't think we have to worry at all. The keeper knows a lot about Dali, if you catch my drift. But so what? Let's just relax.
Okay. As you guys kind of settle in the containment room, we will shift back to the ascent. Maggie, as you have just gotten off the phone with Dr. Corden, you will see Bellatrix approaching as you are making your way out of the building.
Hello, Bella.
What's happened?
You're, Sarah, her name?
What about her?
She, made a mess. It's been cleaned up, but I believe that, she may have tried to fix her problem in another way. Would you like to come with me to the mortuary?
I'll look to. Where's Ophelia?
I will explain well as we are going there.
Fine. I'll follow you.
And Maggie will kind of just lead her back to the car. Probably has to walk there since Jarvis is usually the one driving. But as she's walking, I do believe Ophelia was caught in the crossfire. Of what happened with Sarah.
What do you mean caught in the crossfire?
From the way that she explained it, she had. While she was making her mess, there were a few people that tried to interfere.
So where's Ophelia?
She is at my mortuary.
She's dead?
Unknown at the moment. Like I said, I do believe that Sarah may have tried to fix her problem that she made.
I will just nod and remain silent for the rest of the trip.
You muted, or
Son of. Okay, you make your way back to the mortuary. You step inside, make your way back to where you keep the bodies. Corbin is sitting outside. You can hear what sounds like rabid snarling and snapping on the other side of the door. He is covered in, he's got blood on his clothes, and he's kind of sitting there playing with just fidgeting with a little coin in his hand. And then he, hello. He stands up, kind of brushes himself off. I brought the ladies into the room. I began preparing to move them along, and I had managed to move the one that you mentioned to the side and kind of set them out of the way so that they could be handled later. When the first two began to rouse, I moved quickly, staked the first one before the second one. As the first one was staked, the second one moved toward me. I had to wrestle with that one a bit, but I did manage to subdue that one. Before I wasn't sure about the third, so I went over and tied her down in case, and surely enough, she did come to. She is still bound to the table, but there are 3 vampires inside.
I see. Are you harmed?
My suit is ruined, but I will be fine.
Alright, we can get you a new suit. Just a pat. Do you have any more stakes at hand?
No need. I'll pull out the stake gun.
Excellent.
Very well. He opens the door and lets 2 of you in. You see laying on the floor 2 torpid individuals kind of just laying down, a couple of young women, and you see Ophelia snapping and fighting against the restraints of the table that she's on.
Going to walk slowly towards her. Wasn't what I intended for you. Can you help me hold her down?
Sure.
Okay. Are you undoing the restraints? Okay. Then yeah, I'd say easy enough to I will make you roll for that.
Okay, yeah. She holds her down. I will put the gun to her chest and pull.
Stake.
Can you?
Done.
Yeah. Look to Maggie. Can you deal with the other two? Get rid of them.
Yes.
And
I
what
have
will
full
I?
plans to
Go ahead.
work Coterie. I had full plans to incinerate them regardless.
I'm taking her with me.
Alright. How do you...
Do you have a body bag? And perhaps could I
Plenty.
borrow
You may.
a car?
But
Or
what would... We have a hearse.
that would be perfect. If you could drop me off at the asylum, we could sneak the body in.
That'll work. Maggie will start to basically put on a log that the 2 staked ones that are here are going to be going to the incinerator.
Certainly.
And she is going to go over. She will give Bella a nod and then make her way over to Jarvis to get the body of this one put into a bag and ready for transport. Are you planning on giving her to someone?
No, I need some guidance. And then I will make sure she's not a problem anymore.
I see. Well, as far as anyone's aware, we are the only ones that know that they exist in this farm. I don't plan on exposing it, if you don't.
Of course not. This would be on me, wouldn't it?
If she is your child, then yes.
I have taken responsibility for her, so this would be on me.
Well, by all means, under the law and the traditions, they don't exist.
Understood.
Gordon approaches. Say when everything is prepared.
Yes, make sure to put that one into a bag. Get ready for the transport. Bellatrix here will give you an address to take them to. These 2 are to be into the incinerator. We will do with their ashes later.
I will see to it immediately.
Thank you.
Of course. And he immediately begins. He preps Ophelia, gets them into the bag, gets the address. Where are you sending? Are you sending them to Tiantero or?
No. I'm going with them. We're going to asylum. I need to see Al before I decide what I can do with her.
Okay, so you're sending the body to asylum.
Yeah. I'm going with it. I'm not just sending it there. I'm going with it.
Okay. Okay. The video gets loaded up. He spends a little more time preparing the other 2. He sets them in the machine. The machine turns back. I will see to it that is finished when I return. And he, Maggie, you're going with?
Yeah, I think she will. She will kind of look back and say, they are in a secure area where they won't be able to get out of. Never mind. They'll be fine.
Okay, you guys load up and start making your way to Asylum. You guys drive for a little bit, going into the neutral zone. The weather's... Yeah, you guys make your way to the neutral zone. You approach Asylum. It doesn't look like it has much of a crowd this evening.
I mean, honestly, I'm going to find Chuck, Osgool, and with his help, maybe move the body through the back. Or at least find a place to store it.
Why,
I mean, it's Al. I have seen some shit that he has done to people in here. There's got to be a way that they move bodies in and out of this building.
Yeah, easy enough. Chuck, as you're you find Chuck, as he's kind of helping you move stuff around, he's, why here?
I need advice.
Oh. Well,
And you know the
usually
best
he just
person for
stuffs
the
in your
advice.
chute.
This one's important. Can you watch her
Alright.
for a while? I have something I probably have to take care of.
Kind of looks back toward was supposed to be moving some stuff for some clown shit he's got going on, but yeah, no, I can do that.
Just make sure she's somewhere safe, and then you can move the stuff. If you would be so kind.
I'll keep it on it. At least make sure she don't get disturbed.
Thank you.
Are you coming back tonight?
Yes.
You know, we got him a heads up.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
You
Sure
can tell
thing.
him about this.
Oh, I'm sure he already knows.
Probably.
Alright, well. I'll make sure this stays here. I'll see you tonight.
Okay.
He takes the body and you see him kind of move some things back around in this little kind of alcove at the back of the building. He moves a couple of larger shelves around and you see just this cubby almost that he just kind of like sets her in, but he very kind of gently sets her down, but you also see there's a bunch that looks like he just kind of like tossed them in there and then pulls the shelf back around, comes back out, closes the alcove. That should be fine there till whenever we decide to get back into it.
Thank you.
Alright, I gotta go move a trampoline, so I'll talk to you later. And he makes his way back into Asylum.
Okay, I'm heading back to the hearse.
You get back in the hearse. Scene is yours. If there's anything you want to do before heading to the dolly.
Transport was safe?
Yes.
Good. What do you plan on doing with her?
I don't know yet. Something special. She deserves it. I'm assuming Sarah is at the dolly.
Yes, Sarah walked there with Sophie.
She walked.
What are you planning on doing with Sarah?
too much happening. I think she should sleep for a while. Maybe 6 months, maybe longer.
That would be kind. From what I observed of what she did, and from what Mr. Monahan observed, she seemed to have an expertise for this sort of killing.
Interesting to know.
But maybe a little nap wouldn't hurt her.
Yes, it would not hurt her.
You pull off from the asylum, making your way back south. From there, we transition to the Dolly. Matthew and Drake, as soon as you arrived, you were ushered into the inside, going to the conference room. They told you after a few moments, once everyone's here, we'll begin. And you're left alone for a while. The two of you sitting alone in this room, what are on your minds? Drake, go first.
Drake's mildly intrigued with the events that's going on, but he doesn't really feel much other than a curiosity to see how everyone handles the pain of pain to the connection of what Sarah's doing. He is intrigued to see how Bella reacts to it all. But in the meantime, he's fairly laid back and relaxed. It's kind of just not all that important to him at the moment.
And Matt?
Matt is having a serious deja vu moment, as he literally just experienced this. So he is empathizing with what could possibly be going through Bella's mind, and he's trying to think about what the best course of action would be, if there's even anything he could say to kind of sway someone one way or the other. Because despite the fact that this happened, by what he was told, he's not exactly sure that Sarah was at the wheel, so to speak, about this happening. So her being punished for something that wasn't her fault seems unfair. But at the same time, he understands the politics of the situation, so he's trying to formulate words to say to Bella and anyone else.
As you have these thoughts on your mind, being here for some time, the door finally opens as Maggie and Bellatrix are brought in. Having just arrived and brought to the conference room, being told that everyone wishes to speak.
As soon as Matt sees Bella, he's immediately going to get up out of his chair. Bellatrix, we need to have a very painful conversation.
I told her what happened.
That makes it easier.
Where is Sarah?
Last I knew, Sophie brought her here. Where they are at the moment, where she's at, I have no idea.
About that moment, Sophie's brought in.
Oh, wonderful. Everyone's here.
Where's Sarah?
She's being contained at the moment. How are you feeling?
How would you feel?
Well, I was very deeply upset when Nicholas lost control. Likely not nearly as upset as Mr. Halden. But I just want to remind of the situation that it's not necessarily in control. Mr. Holden, you probably are more appropriate for this.
I'm going to move to the table and sit down.
Matt's just kind of stand there, like, it almost seems like he's trying to taste the words before he spits them out to see how they feel. By what Maggie here said, she may not have been completely at the wheel. Like something else might have been the driving force. She fucked up. And she's terrified. And I had said what I could to try to keep her calm from freaking out or running, because that would have just made it worse. I get what you're feeling. I felt the same way. I understand it, and sadly, that is still somewhat fresh. And it is absolutely terrifying that you are not upending this table, but at the same time, I am very grateful. So we just have to let you decide what happens.
Both of you say you know what I'm going through, but you never lost a piece of you.
You want to run that by me again?
You never lost a piece of you. Ophelia was a piece of me, and now she's gone.
And Mina is dead because of Nick.
Mina is her own person. Ophelia was a piece of me, and now it's lost.
Okay, I apparently didn't read that page of the book, but
Bellatrix, I would never presume to say that I know what you're going through. I can't possibly feel what you are feeling. I only wished to remind us all that this is something that isn't necessarily within our control at all times when discussing moving forward. I just wanted to remind you of the situation with Nicholas, which perhaps that's not the best example, as that turned out not great. Um,
You want leniency, though. Is that what you're asking?
I just want us all to consider our own experiences when we've been in that state, that it's not an excuse for what happens, but it's not necessarily intentional.
That is not to say that discipline doesn't need to happen.
Look around the dolly. Is Edwin joining us? Anyone know?
I believe he does intend to meet with us. I don't know what he has been privy to, and I was going to leave it up to your discretion, or if you wished to tell him, as you are the most guardian of Sarah.
I don't know what really happened, other than 3 people being dead at Sarah's hand.
She got hungry. At the sight of blood, she lost herself. At this
Wow.
age, it is sometimes hard for young to control their own hunger.
Why was there blood? Why was there blood?
Apparently, someone cut their hand.
Hmm.
The door opens and Edwin steps in. He nods to you as he makes his way over to his usual seat, sits down, and turns toward you. I didn't have any intention to summon you here anytime soon, but since you are mostly on the way, I figured I would go ahead and take the opportunity. I have a few concerns that have come across my desk that I felt I should address. First being Mr. Holden. He reaches down, opens up this little binder, and starts flipping through it. Are you actively pronouncing yourself a wanted criminal and displaying art that you've stolen?
That would be a negative, sir.
Because according to, well, my employer, it would seem that you are this individual.
That is a specter pretending to be me.
Uh-huh. And I've gotten quite an earful from Miss Alvarez regarding a graffiti incident that took place across from your Coterie haven.
Yes, this specter seems to enjoy defacing my work to call me out. But don't worry, me and the rest of the group here, as soon as we handle recent business, we will deal with it.
I see. He kind of. Very well. Miss Haywood, I do believe we still have the matter of your familial ties that we need to orchestrate.
Yes, we do need to set up a date and a time and a place for them to meet within Coterie territory.
Very well. Perhaps after this meeting, we'll give you a thing. We'll discuss that. Now, he then turns toward Drake. On the matter of damages on the job that you participated in recently. You have cost me a couple of valuable resources. The truck, not mine, that is fine, but the men were mine. I think a minor boon each should be favorable. Is that amenable to you?
Drake shrug. I suppose that's right in line. Sure thing, Keeper.
Very good. And Bellatrix, I've been meaning to reach out to you as well. How are you settling into your position?
Well enough.
Very good. And how are things with Sarah?
I believe that's why we're here. Would somebody like to explain the events?
Has something occurred?
Apparently so. Sarah has done something very bad. But it's been cleaned up.
Before anyone can speak, he holds his hand up. He stands up and he turns the camera off in the corner of the room. Comes back and sits down. Go on.
Sarah had a messy feeding. 3 casualties. Everything has been cleaned up. No evidence. We will be taking care of the victims and their identities. As is.
Okay. Is there a particular reason that Cat turns back to Bellatrix? Is she too much to be handling with your new responsibilities?
No, I can handle her. I have just recently been told of this, as I was investigating some other leads.
So this just happened.
Yes.
Then I must ask, because I find that curious. You have a young kindred who has made a mess, and you brought them to the Elysium.
I'll look to everybody else. Apparently, I thought that you knew about this, which is why we were going to Elysium.
I wasn't sure why you were here, but I found it to be coincidental, and understanding what the rest of you would be coming, I decided to go ahead and call the meeting. Fascinating. He kind of...
Oh, look to everyone else. So why here?
Y'all know the girl better than I do. That was your decision.
Here, she can be contained if something else goes wrong. Here, there are other people who can assist should you need calming down, but you are immensely calm, and that's why I chose here. It was also to inform Mr. Kane here of what had happened as soon as possible.
There was an anticipation of anger upon destruction of personal property.
I know
Oh.
I was pretty fucking angry.
I'm angry.
Personal property. These individuals that were killed were yours?
One was mine. The other two were apparently patrons in my shop. According to Maggie, blood was spilled by one of them on accident, and she lost control. Sarah lost control.
She did seem remorseful for her offense against you, Bellatrix. I believe she is regretful that she has hurt you, so
Forgive me, Edwin. This would have been something I should have handled privately.
Well, no one is using anything they're not supposed to here at the moment, so I think all is well. I will say, for future reference, if you have a concern that somebody is going to lose themselves, potentially within the grounds of Elysium, I would advise not bringing them into the building, or giving some kind of fair warning so preparations could be made.
Fair enough.
Because the child in question has been wandering around the display area for a considerable amount of time looking at paintings until I sent my man to go and move them into a containment room. Bellatrix had arrived beforehand and happened to have lost her head. I would have had to have put both of them down. Or not me necessarily, the Scourge would have had that pleasure. But fortunately that didn't happen. So Bellatrix, this is a matter under your authority. I can, when you are ready to leave, I can release her into your custody. Unless you wish something else done, just let me know.
Of course.
Would you like the room for a moment? I think I've handled all my affairs here. You can just come by my office when you're ready to leave. If
I
you
will.
would like a moment alone.
Yes, please.
He closes the binder. He walks back over. I assume you've already been discussing this before I entered the room.
Barely. I've just arrived. But yes.
He reaches up, he turns the camera back on, and he leaves.
Well, shall we discuss? You have arguments to make on leniency? Say them.
Perhaps they should be hearing what they're arguing against first. Bellatrix. They don't know what you want to do with her yet.
I haven't fully decided what I want to do with her yet, honestly. So, I wish to hear what they have to say.
Oh, wait, was I supposed to say something? Because apparently my opinion doesn't count because I don't know what you're talking about.
Noted.
It's just funny, but everybody was concerned about how my feelings were when Mina died. But because she's not a part of me, I don't get to express how empathetic I am towards you. I don't get to say what's going on in my head because I don't have a clue what you're going through. A guy I trusted murdered someone I loved. He's gone. And I'll be honest, had he survived, I would have gutted him like a fish. But I didn't get that luxury. I didn't get that closure. The only difference between what Nick did and what Sarah did, Sarah gave a shit that she hurt you. She was more concerned about your feelings than her own life. She is scared. She is a child who doesn't have the first clue what the hell she's doing. Does she deserve punishment? Absolutely. Nick deserved punishment. Thankfully, he got his, but he took the coward's way out doing it. But I guess my opinion doesn't matter because I don't know what you're going through.
You don't. I am sorry that you lost someone you loved, but you did not lose a piece of yourself. But you're right, she is a child.
And she may not have been in control the entire time.
That makes it a bigger problem, doesn't it?
It gives her more that she needs to learn how to control.
Except that it's not just on her anymore. It's on me. And
Which
the
she took
prince.
responsibility for.
Yeah, I did. And the ones in charge here, the ones that run this little madhouse, won't be so forgiving of me when she continues to fuck up.
You say continues to do so, but this could be a very influential point.
Not if she's not in control.
Life.
Not if she's not in control. This is not a learning situation. There is another person controlling her situation that doesn't care. It doesn't care if I'm put this over her. Doesn't care about my life. Doesn't care about my feelings. Because it's older and an asshole.
What?
And if she loses control to that thing, what should I do? Should I forgive it? Should I forgive the monster that is inside her?
When you say older, uh, what do you mean by that?
It's complicated. I'm going to stake her for 6 months, at least. Perhaps I will decide to do something else.
This may have no bearing on things whatsoever, and I'm not throwing my hat in this ring. I do wonder, though, how did she get that hungry to begin with when she's been watched over for so long?
Well, I'm not, I don't know her day or night to night life. But recently I found myself at a bit of a loss in a stressful situation. So it may not have been necessarily fully hunger driven, but is is um is a bit of staking time typical when this occurs?
It's up to who's in charge.
Staking, blood bonding, typical penalizing regards. Though it may be fruitful to gain a little more understanding of what is in her mind, since you may be accounting for her, but we are.
I know what's in her
accounting
mind.
with her. Okay.
And I said it's complicated.
Yes, well, that does make it a bit more difficult for us in terms of understanding your desires for how she is to be dealt with. I've seen the situation with Nicholas, and after the first time, there wasn't necessarily much done after he slaughtered a bunch of people. So I'm just trying to wrap my mind around the consistencies of how this is dealt with. For example, if I were to,
She is a child. She has no rights. I bear the responsibility for her. So, as the one who bears the responsibility for her, I am the one to punish her. Nick did stuff, but he was not a child. No one was watching for him except for his own responsibilities. And nobody cares if humans die. Nobody in this world cares if humans die, except that it creates a mess. And the mess was cleaned up. by Edwin. And so Edwin probably would have taken something from Nick if he had survived. But because she is my responsibility, I get to choose how she is punished. And she needs to learn, therefore she needs to be punished. And quite honestly, I don't have the time to deal with her and the thing, whatever loss of control she has. I still don't know where Gray is. Any minute, Edwin can pull something else, and I have new duties. So, for 6 months, she will rest and contemplate what she's done.
Actually, we might have a line on that gray fellow of yours. I brought it up with the rest of y'all earlier, but I guess didn't get the chance to explain to you. I can't speak for one way or another whether or not he's actually involved with Mr. Adams, but that was who he was last seen with, am I wrong?
It is.
Well, let's just say, and he'll eye the camera for a second, like obviously. Mr. Adams' temperament doesn't exactly lead to Mr. Gray being in a good place or safe in any regard.
You're not telling me anything new.
Well, I believe there was a location discussed.
Storyteller, was there?
You guys had like an approximation based off of the ping you got off of Gray's phone. Since then, more information has been found, but it has not been revealed to the whole group.
Well, that may be a unknown, but I can say for sure, Victor Adams and whatever he's pulled this Gray into is of a greater concern than just Gray's safety. Mr. Adams has a couple plans and connections that aren't exactly copacetic to everyone's well-being.
Religious inclinations.
What, was he in the same cult as Gray?
Surprisingly, no. But with Mr. Monahan being very mum on the topic here, we may need to move this conversation elsewhere for you to actually get any detail on the matter.
I know.
Is there anything else we can discuss while we're here? Or should we move this to the Ascent?
Right now is not exactly the right time. But Bellatrix, in the upcoming gala, we discussed finding appropriate clothing for it and potentially making a advantageous setup for a potential no good doing scandalous thief name stealing man.
Do you want to go shopping?
What, more like procuring appropriate attire so that Mr. Halden may deal with the nuisance that has been behind him.
Matthew
So
would like to
that-
play dress up with us because he doesn't think we know how to dress appropriately for such events. Which is not completely wrong. I've never been to such an event before.
Sure, whatever. I'll stand up. I have other things to attend to. I'm going to get Sarah. Have a good evening.
Miss Bella, may I accompany you at least to
No.
ensure safe? Okay.
And Bella, he'll kind of lean against the table. I don't know how your family works. I don't know the intricacies of everything other than what you've told me. But don't ever tell me I don't know what it's like to lose a piece of yourself. That woman was my heart and soul. She may not be a shard of you, a part of you, whatever you want to call it, but a piece of me died when Nick killed her.
I'll just walk out the door. You're muted.
God, is there anything you need to address with Edwin, or are you just going in and leaving?
I'm just gonna go in and leave for now.
You step outside. After a while, Papa will bring Sarah to you. And with that, we're going to go to a break. We'll be back in about 5 or so minutes. Thanks for tagging along so far, and see you soon. Welcome back. Where we left off, Bellatrix was waiting outside for Sarah. Before we have that exchange, did everybody stay in the conference room? What's going on there?
I think we were heading back to the Ascent.
So you're all leaving?
None of us had left yet, I don't think.
Right.
Maggie will look to the others. I have some business I need to address with Edwin. Will you be able to make it back okay? Her gaze kind of lingers on Matthew. There's like that look of mild concern.
I'll be fine. I survived this long on my own. I just gotta walk home.
Would you like company for that walk?
Sure, Miss Clues. Why not? And Miss Haywood, it's not that I don't think you can't dress yourself. I just think it could use with an update to the wardrobe.
She kind of looks down at herself. There are social situations that I will admit to being less adept to. Matthew.
Well then, call me your fairy godfather. I am here to help.
And I'm sure you stole the magic wand you will tap upon my head.
I would never. I think
Yes,
it
you
was
just happen to
procuring
acquire
temporarily.
it. Borrowing, really.
Exactly. And I just haven't decided when I'm going to give it back.
Of course, of course. If you'll excuse me. I will see all of you later. She will step out. There'll be a brief nod to Bella. If you need a place to store her during this time.
Of course. Thank you.
Of course. She will start to make her way to Edwin's office.
Bellatrix leaves. The door. You knock on the door. Come on in.
Maggie will step in and give a nod. Edwin, you said we needed to further discuss this meeting with my family.
Yes. Given the little information that I do have in regard to this visit, I've not been able to. I'm not sure what is the most appropriate venue. As long as there's an understanding that disciplines won't be allowed, I suppose they could have it here at the Elysium. Otherwise, if they're intending to have some kind of more family matter, if the nature of what's happening here, I suppose I'm a little under-equipped.
It is more along the lines of I was hoping that you would be able to help me use your resources rather than use the resource of Elysium to acquire a place temporarily. Make sure it is secure, Masquerade safe, in order for them to have their discussions under the safety of being within Camarilla territory.
That is... okay. That is a little more amenable. I do have a couple of locations that I have access to that I could probably allow. You still are on... You don't have any information about what this is pertaining to?
The most that I have about it is that it may involve a meeting between the members of my family that reside within the neutral zone and The visiting Giovanni.
Of course. He kind of goes through this folder. He pulls up his paper. This wouldn't have anything to do with the shades.
Unsure. But if it doesn't, and I'm allowed to speak, I'm going to see about making it about it. If I can make this a family matter, we may be able to get rid of them on its own.
Have you found any development regarding that matter? Amethyst came here some few days ago and seemed rather perturbed.
Recently, I followed a funeral, and there was this sound, this groan that seemed to pull emotion, I suppose, from the mourners. It made them leave, and then when I looked at the caskets, there were shades that pulled up and headed in a different direction.
If it is the manipulations of a sorcerer, it's not likely ones we encountered before. They use spirits to provoke outrage, not take.
They may be harvesting something from this place. Building something larger. I would need to study it further.
I am admittedly very out of my depth in this regard, so I will leave that matter in your hands if you are accepting of that task of finding what the source of this is, whether it is a problem or not.
As long as you're amenable to me seeking out assistance while I look into it.
Within reason.
Of course. I do not plan to seek it outside of the city.
I'd recommend staying out of the northern territories as well. Neutral zone is fine, but much has happened north of that.
I don't usually play with anarchs.
Wise decision. Very well then. He gives you the venue. Is there anything else that requires my assistance in this matter?
She will look over the venue. I will pass this along to the family up in the neutral zone. I will tell you if they need any further assistance in that regard.
Certainly. We respect and take care of our alliances. If that is all, I will expect down at the folder where all of these little fun bits of information have landed on his desk recently. I have some business to take care of.
Of course. Have a good evening.
He was on the table.
She went out.
You head out. Everybody heads where they're going. Bellatrix, as you are standing outside waiting, Cahill steps forward with Sarah. Her head is down. She's kind of looking toward the ground. Cahill just kind of crosses his arms, look at her. I think this one's yours.
It is.
Oh, she's all yours again. Your friends should be made aware she can't be here without you.
I think they're aware now, but thank you.
Right. Good luck with that. And he turns and he heads back toward the building. Sarah, not looking up, sits quietly.
Get up. Come.
She follows.
We'll walk back to the tea shop.
I'm really sorry.
Let's talk about it when we get to the tea shop.
She sits quietly the rest of the walk. Not a very busy night. You can tell that it hasn't quite hit, but you can tell there is a storm heading this way. She follows you until you get into the building. And she looks down at the area, and now entering for the first time since everything happened. You see where some blood got cleaned up from the carpet. You see a fracture on a glass counter. You see some of the display behind the counter has been knocked over. And you see something that looked like somebody might have accidentally cut their hand on a teacup they might have chipped. Or maybe it was just a little more of an edge bit into it.
Oh. Is she still standing in the doorway?
She has stepped in and kind of stepped to the side, and she's kind of watching you.
Okay. I'm going to shut the door, lock it, make sure the close signs. Yeah. Let's go upstairs.
She nods and she follows you.
Once I get to the second floor where I used to meet the Coterie. All right. What happened?
I just finished practicing seeing things that you taught me. And then I did a little bit of practice being unseen. And when I finished, I was a little hungry. I couldn't find you, so I went to see Ophelia. But she was tending to some customers, and I was trying to help. One of the women, she was messing with this little cup, and I heard this slight cracking sound, and I turned, and she had chipped the cup, and I could smell it. And I was really hungry. And then I moved. But it was like I saw things happening before they were happening. I moved in a way I hadn't moved before. And next thing I know, I was on top of Ophelia. And I wasn't hungry anymore. And I didn't know what to do, so I moved them into the back room, and I tried to get a hold of you. And the only other people I knew to talk to was your coterie. So I went to their place and brought them here.
And what did you do before you called them? And
I moved them into the room where you take people to do readings. And I tried to call you. I tried to get a hold of you, and then I took them to. And then I went to the Ascent.
did you try to do anything to save them before?
I thought they were dead. I didn't think there was anything to save.
Is she lying?
Give me what's an insight.
Four successes.
She's bonded to you, and she seems incredibly remorseful. You're not certain that she's lying. Are they alive?
No. No.
Okay.
Part of this is on me. I should have paid closer attention. Unfortunately, other things have taken some of.
I should have been more careful with my practice. I didn't realize how hungry I'd gotten.
Unfortunately, I can't just let it go. There's so many eyes on me, so many eyes of those in charge, like those doctors, the hospitals, all the rules. And when you break the rules, well, when you break the rules, I have to pay the price. But there's no price for. No. But I think you should rest some time and contemplate what you have done. First, I'll take a blade and cut my hand. Drink. This is part of your punishment.
Without hesitation, she drinks.
Oh. I'll bring myself to 4 hunger at this point. As she's doing it, I'm actually going to pull out the stake gun, and while she's close to me, this is only for a little while, until I can think about some things. And I'm going to attempt to stake her with the gun.
Give me the roll.
Whoops. I was supposed to re-roll one of those. It'd probably be... Hold on. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, 1 success. Because I'll spend a willpower.
Okay. You line up a shot.
And
I'm gonna make a go ahead.
I was going to say, included with, because it's the stake gun, it gets +3.
Yeah.
So it's 4 successes, but yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make a roll.
Okay.
If I can get 3 successes, then this will not turn out badly.
Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
You line up the shot and you go to pull the lever. You notice there's a slight hesitation as she's finishing to drink from you. You clock that she realizes what's happening. There's a slight tense on your wrist. But I'll say with your wits and awareness, this is a decision to brace for it rather than evade it. And the stake goes through.
I know. Oh, hold her. I know you can still hear me. I don't know it wasn't you. He's still in you. And he seems to take control. We need to figure out how to fix that.
She lays
But-
Torpid in your arms.
Oh, I'm gonna lay her down. Text Maggie when you get the chance. She's in the tea shop. Give her like directions on which room to go to. And
Okay.
I'm gonna leave the room. Probably wait for Maggie to get here, but afterwards, for the night, I'm heading to the asylum.
Maggie will head over with Jarvis with the hearse in tow so they can load her up. Probably put her in a drawer back at the mortuary and lock it.
By the time you've made your way back, Corbin's already incinerated the other 2.
Good.
Give me a wits and awareness.
4 successes.
You finish putting them away. And as you kind of return back to the space where Corvin's already cleaning out the ashes and taking care of everything, he steps out, removes the apron a bit, kind of sets to the side, begins removing his gloves, turns to you. Well, that is taken care of. Is there anything else you need of me?
No, I just need to make sure this one is kept locked.
I will make sure it stays so. If you do not need anything else of me, I think I will retire for the evening.
Of course. Have a good night, Dr. Corwin.
You as well. And he goes, he hangs everything up, and he goes to walk outside. As the door closes, you hear that beginning to fill the space again.
She's going to activate her Oblivion sight and sense the unseen.
You look around. This room looks like... It almost looks as if somebody has just lightly cupped over a light source that was filling a room. And you see from where he just cleaned the incinerator, 2 more shades. They move along the wall. And then vanish. But you see there's a shadow lingering on the incinerator. Not
Who's
the
gonna
shape of
approach it?
anything, just dim.
Mm-hmm. She's gonna approach it. What are you doing here?
Does your Oblivion sight allow you to hear?
I am not sure, but since the unseen is more than just one sense, I'd imagine.
Just a moment. I hunger.
Where do you feast?
Everywhere.
There is nothing for you here to eat.
You are here.
Yes, I am. But I am not food.
Shade leaves.
Interesting. She's gonna go grab her sketchbook and start sketching out the vague shape she saw.
Okay. We move from there. Sophie and Matt. You guys are walking away from this Elysium. Where are you heading?
Matt's going to be heading back to the Ascent.
And I'm accompanying him, so I will also be heading to the Ascent.
Drake, are you going? Did you go with them, or did you travel on your own?
He went with them, but he is several paces behind. He's mainly just playing guard right now.
Okay.
Even he can read the mood at the moment.
The three of you are traveling. You can see that there is a little bit more traffic, a few more people moving about. Knowing what's coming, people are starting to try to either get a dodge or grab some last minute supplies. But not a whole lot of people walking about, mostly just high traffic and vehicles. You guys do have some semblance of seclusion. The scene is yours.
Well, Mr. Holden, perhaps that may have gone a bit better, but all in all, I am hopeful that Bellatrix did not turn asunder the dolly, so I think things may be fine. I do want you to know I don't know how you felt with Mina, but I have sympathy for what you've gone through.
And he's not even looking towards her when he speaks. He's just walking. I will admit, I don't know what she's going to do with her. But I can't say I don't agree with it. The kid is an unknown. She's an enigma that we don't quite understand, and the best thing to do is put it in a box until we can figure it out. Now, whether or not she's going to put that girl in a box temporarily or permanently, like she pointed out, it's her responsibility. So, despite what any of us have to say, it's her decision. And whether we agree with it or not, we have to accept it.
Yes, I do hope it's not in a box for terribly long. I believe you and I both have had an experience of being held without our freedom for a amount of time, and it's very jarring trying to acclimate after that.
Yeah. I had to get used to freedom after a few years. And now I have a new problem to worry about. So I'm going to focus on that.
You don't have to go into detail, obviously, but this person with this vendetta against you, what is their motivation to keep up with it? they seem to have started to do this after a while. So is there anything that triggered this to happen that you know of?
That is why I want to speak to him, because it has been quite a few years. One, I need to know how long he's been following me, because the name he's dropped, I wasn't going by that name until well after he was no longer in my life. So he apparently wants to be a fan with a grudge and watch my every move. And fans with weird stalker grudges, those are not the ones you want to meet, but I desperately want to say hello to him and reminisce, catch up. You know, hey Louis, how you doing? Can you explain to me why you decided to get me imprisoned for 8 years and then turn around as soon as I come out years later, decide to stalk me again? Things like that. You know, normal guy talk.
Perhaps he was unaware that you had found freedom.
That is fair, unless unless he was in the courtroom the day I got sentenced to 8 years in prison for our mess. He wouldn't have known how long I was, because he had been in the wind since before I got arrested. So yeah, figuring out how is my biggest question. Well, actually, why is my biggest question. How is a close second.
All three of you, please give me a wits and awareness roll. You are going to need at least a 4.
I'm going to blood surge.
Okay.
That's a 7 with a missy crit.
I also blood surged.
Uh, 5 successes.
Spending a willpower. Three.
Matthew, you're a little distracted with thinking about everything that's going on, thinking about Louis and what he did and what his motivations might be. Sophie, while you're sitting there listening, you catch out of the corner of your eye a shadow rapidly approaching from the rear. Before you can say anything, Drake, you hear footsteps. Very purposeful steps coming up from behind. You clocked this individual. I'm going to ask you a question. Do you fight or flight?
Fight.
Sophie, as you turn and you, just in the last moment, you're getting ready to say something, you watch as in one swift motion, he's turned around and his hand has busted through the chest of somebody in the middle of the street. Drake, as you just go into this motion, you very quickly, assuming this is the person who's coming after you, they can take this hit. You rip a mortal's heart out of their chest. They drop a stake. You see a little piece of paper fall out of his sleeve as he immediately dies in your hand, on your hand, rather. Not even having a moment to process what just happened. 3 cars speed off that were just on the road.
Drake, can you go one night without doing something like this?
Drake hears her. Are there any alleyways nearby?
Sure.
He's
You guys have
immediately
gotten
going to
relatively close to the ascent.
he's immediately going to drag that body to an alleyway as fast as he can.
Matt is just like rambling, and all of a sudden he's like, what the hell? Drake!
This is not our problem, right? We can go. We can leave and go
Drake's
to
going
the
to look at the
ascent.
piece. Drake's going to look at this piece of paper real quick.
You pick up the piece of paper, and it's just it looks like it's a menu, and it looks like a Chinese restaurant. Up top says Happy Garden.
I hear you, Miss Clues, but you may want to take a bit of a look at this. Both of you.
All right.
He's gonna gesture at the stake and then raise the paper. Remember how I talk about the Baharian gardens?
Yes. And you're sure this is that and not
Takeout?
hunters?
That you just took out?
Points at the stake. Now that said, I thought it was, someone a little bit more durable.
Do you think maybe that was part of their intention? If these people that know you who are trying to harm you, perhaps they're trying to get to you to break the masquerade, or get in trouble with?
I don't think bringing attention to themselves that exclusively is quite the style. That said, this was definitely a sacrifice.
Have you tried boxing at lessons at all? Holding restraint?
Plenty. Well, I'm also here to protect y'all. I mean, yeah.
Yes, that is a valiant notion. But there's also perhaps more appropriate ways to deal with an attacker than just it's
Subtle as a brick technique?
Well,
now we
as I
can't
said,
even ask anything.
I'm not disagreeing. I didn't expect someone so weak. I didn't expect a mortal either.
Actually, Maggie might be able to speak with them, I suppose. She does have some wonderful abilities for things like that, but you really, I understand it's this was more in self-defense, I suppose, but maybe try to be less punching next time.
You
Yeah,
begin to
hear
hear
ya.
sirens.
Go. I'll try to drag this away. No sense y'all getting caught up with me. Keep an eye out, though.
Right. Well, if you need help doubling background at some point, just let us know, I suppose. Holden, we should probably go.
Drake's gonna immediately call Maggie.
Sophie is going to move toward the edge of the building and attempt to unseen passage and silence of death.
Okay. Are you still heading to the ascent? The two of you.
Yes.
I am, yes.
Okay. You begin making your way to the ascent. Drake, you are. How are you doing this?
He's already got the body on his shoulders, and he's calling Maggie.
Maggie, your phone rings.
Okay. She'll answer her phone.
Miss Hayward, no time to explain. Need a place to meet your hearse and quick.
I suppose that it's that sort of day.
Mortal tried to catch us unaware. Wasn't aware I was a mortal.
I just sent Dr. Corwin home. I'll see you there. Where? Can you give me a street crossing?
Actually, I'd prefer if you had one that I can meet you at. I can carry this thing real quick, but I need to get out of here.
I need you to not be seen with a body being carried around town. Where are you?
We're on the path of the ascent.
Right. I will meet you there. I will see about my I have someone I can call to Are those sirens?
Unfortunately, yes.
I have someone I can call to put that off.
Appreciate it.
Please.
I'm aware this is my fault.
I don't even know what happened yet. You will explain once I get there. She will hang up.
Absolutely.
As soon as you get off the phone, you hear from above you a little dead weight on there, don't you?
I don't know.
should look
Someone
up.
threw it on me. Oh, with Maggie?
Drake, sorry.
It seems someone threw it on me.
You turn up and look, and you see an individual who is clothed from head to toe, concealing everything. They've got a hood pulled up, and they're just kind of staring down at you.
What? Oh, a little afraid of old me?
I like to play with my food.
Plan, is it? You sure that's going to go how you think it is?
It has so far.
Yeah, well, most people get the first shot in on me. The fact it didn't in me is going to be your mistake.
We'll see. I might not have to really lift a finger. You might get yourself killed.
If you're going to be Bowen, go somewhere else.
He just sits there, watches you.
He's going
Sirens get
to,
closer.
yeah. Gonna look down. He's going to trust in Maggie for a moment, but he's going to bring his hat down low over his eyes for the moment. And just have a hand on a stake under his vest. Well, we're going to see one way. I'll know how this plays out.
You have one more chance, Mr. Monahan.
What, to come back and die somewhere else?
That's not my call to make.
At this point, I mean, what else could they want me for?
Not my question to answer.
Now, aren't you just the most perfectly tended flower? Don't question nothing.
I'm the shear. And with that, he stands up and he steps out of sight.
Drake is going to try to trust Maggie, although he's going to kind of pull the body, try to get back further into the alley, and look for possible escape routes that he could use Blink to get to before he's fully seen.
You hear the sirens. You see squad cars passing through the area, but they haven't gone looking through alleyways or anything on that line yet. They seem to just be kind of patrolling. Not much longer before you see Maggie's car pull up at the end of an alleyway. The blood has mostly fallen from your victim. It won't be long before they do catch that trail. You did leave a pretty nice mess on the way here.
Drake's going to hurry over.
Maggie will open up the back of the car. There's already like a tarp laid out. Put it in.
Got it. Keep an eye out.
Get in
There's an
with it.
enemy around.
She'll close the door behind him. She'll look around. She'll kick some of the dirt and the on top of the blood trail that has led into the alleyway. Muddy it up a little bit and then get back into the driver's seat and start going. Explain.
They made their first move. They knew that, they played me. I thought it was a kindred. It wasn't. Just a sacrifice to put me in a bad situation. I made sure to have Matthew and Sophie get out of there as fast as possible whether I faced worse consequences or I was able to get out of there was going to be on me.
Witnesses?
Well, someone called the police. I'm not sure if the witnesses were mortal or not. There were 3 cars.
Where?
And I'll give the location.
Just basically a couple buildings over. The direction they took off was they went north. 2 went north, 1 went south.
I see.
There was a
I'll be
kindred
taking-
waiting.
I'm sure there was. Do you have a name?
Unfortunately, no. And
Do you
decided to be
remember what they look like?
wrapped up like a mummy.
You didn't see their face.
Unfortunately, not. Doesn't seem to be their game.
Hmm.
So
Unfortunate.
it's definitely the Bahari.
I see. Are they going to provoke you into further actions such as this?
Well, considering that I now know that I'm playing with the more underhanded, I understand more. What I'm used to ain't gonna be the case no more.
Do you think you could be a little more subtle?
Yeah, I fully own up to this one.
I am aware you own this one. I'm asking, are you going to be more subtle in the future?
Well, I'm gonna keep trying to be. That's what I was trying to be tonight.
She kind of looks in the rearview mirror at him. How bloody does he look?
He punched a hole through a man's chest, slung him over his shoulder, and ran through a couple of alleyways. He is drenched. His shirt is red.
Do you even know the meaning of the word?
Yeah.
You will learn.
He'll just tip his cowboy hat. Yes, ma'am.
She's going to kind of drive around for a little bit before going back to her mortuary. She's going to start making calls on her Bluetooth to start covering this one up. Because this one's going to be a lot more difficult than the last ones. Tonight's been a night.
This is, he calls himself one of the Shears. It's a personal affectation more than a title, but the purpose is the same.
I'll have to look more into your face to understand what you're talking about.
I'll
These
tell you.
little- I'm sure you'll tell me plenty. But you'll view it through a very particular lens.
Fair enough. I miss the days of simple.
I think you'd be bored if it was simple.
Yeah, maybe, but you and I know enough that the what's the phrase? The nail that stands out gets the hammer.
I suppose.
Is there anything I can help with in this endeavor to at least pull my weight in my own mess?
Learn from it.
Yes, ma'am.
There's nothing in particular of your skill set that I would require in cleaning this up. But I do expect you to not lash out again like that again. I expect such
Nah.
behavior from a child, not someone of your age.
I'll tip his hat and then check it, see if there's any blood on it.
Your hat? Probably.
Yeah. Let's clean this.
You tend to this mess. And we will shift back to the ascent, where there are only two of your coterie there. As you guys get inside, close the door, you can hear the sirens. It's not long before squad cars are kind of going around the area. Before long, there's a knock on the door.
Sophie will stand up and... Is there a peephole on the door?
I feel you guys have claimed there was at one point.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm pretty sure they would have that as
Yeah.
I'll look through
Yeah.
the peephole before opening the door.
You see a couple of officers standing outside.
I'm going to whisper to Lakar. There's some officers outside.
I'm sorry, what? And he will stand up.
I know you just were. We were just discussing your time in the big house. I'm assuming you would rather not go there again. Would you like to leave? I'll answer the door. You can hop out the back if you desire. Coming. Sorry, I just in the bathroom. I'll be in the door in a moment. You may want to take your leave unless I have someone posted outside watching.
Miss Clues, please. I've got this. I just
All right.
need you to just roll with it, okay?
All right. I'll back you up then. Coming. Just one moment. I'll walk to the door and
Matt's gonna make his way into the bathroom.
I'll open it. Yes. Hello.
I'm going to ask a question real quick. Have either of you done a rouse check to flush today?
Oh, I can do that right now.
No, I didn't think of it because I thought we were leading right into the next thing and not the next day. I completely spaced.
That's right. Do you want to do the rouse check real quick? Since you just stepped out of it. Okay.
Yep.
You open the door. There's a couple of officers, and one kind of couple paces back. The other one kind of looks to you and, hi, I apologize for interrupting your evening tonight, but we had a couple of disturbing phone calls about something that just occurred, well, just down the road here. I just wanted to ask you, see if we can come in and ask a few questions, if that's all right. We're just going door to door, checking with everybody.
You're muted.
You're muted.
Yes. Yes. Sure. Is this about the cat that was in the tree? Have you solved that situation? Because it's not our cat. I think it's one of the neighbors.
No, this isn't about a cat. May we come in?
Oh, yes. Yes, that would be fine. Matthew, darling. There's some wonderful officers here. Just finish up in the bathroom. Take your time. He needs more fiber.
Matt's going to come out in nothing but a towel.
Matthew,
Who's at the door, babe?
I told you, there's some fine men here, officers. Apologies. Well, you know how it is. I could step out into the hall actually. If you have any questions.
Well, actually, we already asked a couple people nearby. They said that, well, gesturing toward Matthew, somebody just entered the building. If you don't mind, these questions would be for both of you.
Oh, absolutely. How can we help? I mean, was there a problem? Did something happen?
The first one moves into the door, takes a few steps in, kind of looks around. The other one kind of comes in and posts himself by the door. Well, like I said, we received a couple disturbing phone calls, a couple of reports that there might have been a violent incident not too far from this establishment. And a couple people stated across the street, happened to state that they saw somebody pretty hurriedly making their way and ended up coming into this building. And we just wanted to see if, since you happen to be coming from the direction that the incident took place, I just wanted to see if perhaps you saw anything.
Oh, no. Me and my lady here, we were just coming back from the museum.
We were a bit hurried because we were a bit excited. As you see, you've kind of interrupted something, but I don't believe I saw any other people. But I was a little distracted by his handsome face.
She likes the art. More the
Of
art.
course. Give me what's an insight.
Two successes.
Two.
Okay. The one in the back is kind of watching the two of you. The other one asking questions will look at you guys, and then he'll turn kind of again, glance around, and then he goes back to his little notepad. Okay, sure. If that were the case, and of course, I'm not calling you a liar. What you do is your business. But again, I have to ask because somebody saw somebody coming into this building in the last 10 minutes, and unless you are incredibly efficient, is there somebody else here that might have seen something?
Oh, well, no, you see, we were just getting started.
And then you went to take a shower?
No, it's before. I mean, I don't.
Pre-game.
Of course, right. Sets the pen in the pad and resets it to his gear, and he kind of. All right, well, he reaches into his pocket. If you happen to think of anything that you might have seen, here's the card.
Matt is going to lean in. He's gonna step forward to grab, and he's going to pop awe.
Give me the roll.
I don't think awe has a roll. It just allows you to add dice, your presence in dice on social rolls.
Does it not? Okay.
It has a. I don't even think it has a rouse as level 1.
I know it doesn't have a rouse.
Manipulation and presence.
Yeah. Is it? But I thought it allows you to
Manipulation
add.
presence.
Okay.
It does add it, but that's if they are successfully odd. Then that's the
Okay.
pattern.
I'm going to activate Sense the Unseen.
Okay. Give me a wits and awareness.
Four.
Two. I think 2 successes.
Okay. So, Matthew, you activate that. And both of them just kind of shift their eyes toward you. The one in the back still very quiet. The one in the front kind of, I do apologize for inconveniencing you.
Gentlemen,
No longer paying attention to Sophie. Yeah.
Gentlemen, I completely understand. You are doing your job, and I applaud and commend you both. It's good to know that there are people out there like you that are willing to put your lives on the line to protect people like us. And I promise you, if we hear or see anything, I will be sure to give you a call, and he'll wave the card. Now, if you don't mind, I have some business to attend to.
Of course, and just doing our job. Glad to know there are such cooperative, law-abiding citizens
Of course.
within St. Pete. You all enjoy the rest of your evening. Sophie, as they go to back away, you noticed that when he popped off, on the cop in the back, there was a little thing that glows just slightly around their neck that almost seemed to surge outward. The exchange happens, they turn and leave.
Sophie will close the door and turn to Matt. You know how Edwin has those little trinkets that, or his guards, little trinkets that tend to glow around powers.
Sure.
I think one of those officers had something similar, or I don't know if it was perhaps a protective amulet of some kind. Not sure your awe was that inspiring on them in particular. I don't think officers typically have anti-kindred devices.
Probably not. You telling me I just got the damn thing and it didn't even work that well? Damn.
I think you did.
I ain't telling Carmen
wonderfully.
about this. She's going to be disappointed.
You know, if Drake were here, he probably would have just stabbed.
Put a hole in
them.
both the officers? Yeah, and then we would have had 2 more bodies to clean up.
So I think this went well, but they may be back. And we should probably let the rest of the coterie know that it seemed rather targeted if they knew we got to this building and it was exactly 10 minutes. Because they may be going after the others as well.
Joy. So I got mostly naked for nothing.
You hear something, not a knock, but there is something at the door for a moment. And then you hear footsteps going away.
Well, I didn't just hear that.
What now?
Has been a bit much for me. I think I'm going to put on a record and just lay down for a few moments.
Matt's gonna go back into the bathroom, put his clothes back on, and then come back out a few minutes later.
No one's gonna check the door.
Oh yeah, he's gonna go for the door after.
You open the door, and you see discarded police garb.
He'll bring it inside. Well, either they just evaporated, or there's now 2 naked cops walking around the complex. Either way, interesting.
Well, I suppose if you ever wanted to impersonate one, you now have ample gear for it.
You notice it's not like pants or anything, but it's the blue overshirt, the hat, the badges, the holster, just left there on the door.
Okay, so they're not. Yeah, I mean, it'll add to the collection that I'm cultivating.
You bring everything inside. Sophie takes a moment to kind of rest and process things. Drake, Maggie, finish cleaning up Drake's mess. And Bellatrix makes their way to Asylum. And with that, we shift to our final scene. A car pulls up outside of a pretty public space, set of residential buildings. They go open the door. A couple people step out, wearing pants, white undershirt, nothing else. They step into the building, go upstairs, enter a room, close it. Well, detective, I think that went well. Yeah. Get the boss on the phone. Tell him that we found them. He's got a show you're ready for. They step over. He reaches down, picks up his phone off of a table, flips through the contacts, and presses Louis. The phone starts dialing. And that is where we'll end tonight's session. Thank you all very much for tagging along. We will see you in the next chapter.